you had a viral moment. We've had a few,
Mm.
but you've had a viral moment around not focusing on making your kids happy.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Ooh, it's a chapter of my book too. And again, kind of making our kids happy to me is almost the opposite of what matters most in life, which is building resilience, right? In my mind.
When I think about my mom growing up,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a moment where I was like, I got to feel happy here. I remember a lot of other things, good things, and I have a great relationship with my mom, but I never remember feeling like I better be happy in the moment.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people of our generation, like, right?
Yeah. I think this generation, when we see our kids upset, there's a lot of us, we have this like instinct to fix it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think I hear this anecdotally from people. Oh, don't you just want your kids to be happy? And I can't help myself. I'm always like, no.
Or people will say like, what's the goal of parenting? And I just want to raise happy kids.
Right. But if we think about adulthood, I don't know if all of us here would be like, most of the time, the thing that's going on for me is just happy. Like there's hard moments.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I think about what I want for my kids when they're older, I want them to be able to cope. I want them to feel resilient. I want them to feel like it's okay to be themselves in the widest range of situations, not the narrowest range. I think this really comes to life with an example, right? To really kind of bring it together. And I think, again, another metaphor I think about is this idea of like a feelings bench, right? So if you picture one of your kids right now, picture them like wandering around a garden and there's benches everywhere. And it's kind of the garden of life and each bench is a different experience. We often find our kids on kind of painful benches. So maybe your 4-year-old's not there yet, but it might be the bench of, I'm the only kid in my class who can't read. Okay. And this to me, that idea of, do I help my kid become resilient or do I maximize my kid's comfort and ease and happiness is like kind of at odds. Because if my kid is on this bench of, I'm the only one who can't read, they're kind of more generally on the bench of other people have things I don't have, or I feel less than, which I would say is going to be something they're going to feel a million other times over the course of their life. And I think as a parent, we have one of two instincts. We either have the instinct to kind of yank them off that bench and bring them to the bench we see in the sun, the happy bench. My kid says, like, I'm the only one who can't read in my class. And I'll say, I don't know, but you're the best one at soccer and they all suck at soccer. Like something flies out of my mouth because I'm like, come be happy. Or I kind of try to convince them that their bench isn't their bench. I'm like, wait, that can't be true. Or that's not such a big deal. Everyone else is an early reader and you're reading perfectly on time. Whereas both of those approaches, number one, actually make a kid, I would say, much less confident and create a fear of distress. Because a kid's kind of saying, I'm distressed, I'm upset, and I come to my parent. And I guess my parent is as scared of my upset feelings as I am because they're kind of willing to run circles and do anything for me not to feel it. They're even trying to convince me that my feeling isn't my feeling. I'm like coming to them saying I'm upset and they're like, no, you're not. But I am. That's why I came to you.
Or you shouldn't be.
Or you shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think there's really, I've distilled this into 3 lines because I like to get concrete, that are the essence of optimizing for long-term resilience instead of optimizing for short-term happiness. Number 1, I'm so glad you're talking to me about this. That to me is a line every parent should have in their vocabulary. I would say every partner should have in their vocabulary when someone's saying anything that's upsetting. Because what you're really saying is the part of you who feels upset is still attachable to me. I like that part. I'm not scared. Right? I would think someone in a company is like, I need a raise. And you're thinking as a boss, like, you're not getting a raise. If you start the conversation by just saying, I'm so glad you're talking to me about this. Defenses go down. You're on the same team. Immediately, the conversation is going to be more productive. The second line, I think, is the ultimate confidence producing line for a kid. Because I think about confidence as self-trust, not feeling good. I believe you. I actually think like those are healing words for a lot of our childhoods. Just, I'm the only one who didn't get a chapter book. I'm so glad you're talking to me about this. Yeah, and they handed them out and I got this picture book and everyone else got chapter books. I believe you. And then tell me more. Literally, tell me more. And then what happened? And if you think about your kid on this bench, what you're really doing is you're just sitting down next to them. That's what you're doing. You're just sitting. You're like, tell me the story of kind of what happened. And then what happens 99 times out of 100 is your kid truly gets off the bench to walk away before you do. You're like, oh, they're fine. They just had to kind of like get it out. They had to know they weren't alone in their feelings. that actually builds a kid who becomes incredibly confident and resilient, because the next time they're the only one who, I don't know, doesn't have a cool pair of sneakers, or wasn't invited to a birthday party, or was the only one in their analyst class who didn't get promoted, they're going to be upset, but they're not going to spiral into the darkest part of the abyss. And that's all about, again, not trying to make our kids short-term happy, but making them long-term resilient.